How's it going, guys? Anton here, and welcome to episode 2 of 5 and 5. This episode will feature the Timberwolves, the Knicks, Kings, Mavericks, and the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's get on to the video. New logo, new team. Next year, I want to see the Timberwolves in the playoffs. I don't care what seed it is, I just want to see them in playoff basketball. In this draft, I think they're going to take Jonathan Isaac with the 7th pick. He's a 6'10" small forward who could play power forward if he just puts on a bit more muscle. He could be the perfect stretch forward that the Timberwolves need. And next year, imagine the lineup of Rubio, Levine, Wiggins, Isaac, and Towns. But I want to see Rubio gone in the next 2 seasons because I want to see some development in Chris Dunn's game. I think he's going to be the point guard of the future, even though others seem to be doubting his game. I think the main focus this offseason is to mostly improve their bench depth. You haven't got anyone you can rely on as soon as your starters come off. The New York Knicks aren't looking that good for next year. You have the base of Porzingis, but around him you only have players right now of Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony. And well, Joakim Noah, he's useless pretty much. There are really 2 options at your 8th pick in this year's draft, and that's between Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank Ntilikina. Smith Jr. is probably the biggest wild card of this draft class. But if you're the New York Knicks, I think you have to take that risk, as Derrick Rose is most likely leaving this offseason and you just need someone to start at point guard. I think you need to trade Carmelo Anthony to a contender right now so that you can get some young talent and maybe some picks for the future. Right now, you just have to develop Porzingis, whoever you draft, and you have to wait for the future, as New York will just have to struggle with their team for the next few years. I think that trading DeMarcus Cousins was the best move that the Kings have pulled off in recent years. You gain a young talent in Buddy Hield, who is definitely going to be a sharpshooter for years to come. And now you have the 5th and 10th picks in this year's draft. And I think everyone knows who you are going to pick with the 5th pick, and that's John Wall 2.0, also known as De'Aaron Fox. You have a front court that consists of Skal Labissière and Willie Cauley-Stein, who look good for the future, just not superstar players. I recommend drafting another big like Larry Markkinen at the 10th pick, just to make sure that you have someone to back them up when they're subbed off. If you could somehow find a way of signing either Otto Porter Jr. or Danilo Gallinari, I think the Kings might be somewhat decent next year and for many years to come. I believe that Dirk Nowitzki's career is coming to an end either this year or next year. And because of that, I think the Mavericks need to be ready for more lottery picks. You're not going to make the playoffs for a long time, but you have the 9th pick this year, and I believe you're going to draft the French phenom in Frank Ntilikina. I'm only saying this because I believe Dennis Smith Jr. will be taken at 8th by the Knicks, but if he's available, you have to take him. Players like Yogi Ferrell, Seth Curry, and Harrison Barnes have been stepping up this year, but it wasn't enough to help you guys make the playoffs. But earlier on in the season, you traded for Nerlens Noel, which is a solid building block for the next few years. If you could build around him and Frank Ntilikina, I think you could have a solid team soon. You're not going to win in the next few years, but the more draft picks you can produce, I think the better you'll be. I believe there is only one thing that the Pelicans need to do this offseason, and that is hunt down Chris Paul. Next year, we could be seeing the big 3 of CP3, Anthony Davis, and Boogie, and that would be terrifying for other Western Conference teams. That team could easily make it to the conference finals, and the rivalry with the Warriors would be amazing to watch. This offseason, you need to sign some valuable assets that come off the bench and just supply points and defense. If you can't get CP3 in the offseason, you have to make sure you re-sign Drew Holiday, as I believe he is also quite underrated. Although you don't have a pick for this year's draft, I think the Boogie trade was still a great idea. If you could somehow dump the contracts of Solomon Hill, Omer Asik, and Etuan Moore, that would help out drastically. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Make sure you subscribe and like for more content like this. See you next time.